I had the real pleasure recently of spending some time online talking to a Canadian chiropodist by the name of Jonathan Tomines. Jonathan is absolutely amazing. Now, some of you will be going, who is this guy? But if I give you his alternative name, I'm sure some of you will understand exactly who he is. He goes online by the name The Toe Bro. Now, The Toe Bro is absolutely amazing. I came across his YouTube channel a while ago, and it is chock full of really, really good content. He has 250,000, and that's not a typo, 250,000 subscribers on YouTube, and his videos regularly get viewed by millions of people. Now that is a really, really, really good advertisement for foot health and podiatry and chiropody. It's an amazing, amazing advertisement. I spent some time on Zoom having a chat to him and asking him a few really, really key questions, which I've been dying to ask him for a while, and you can find that now.
Tell me about, because I know in one of your videos you talked about the fact that you're a chiropodist, and you were very, very much, I'm a chiropodist, not a podiatrist. And really, to put it in context, in the UK, we're all trained now as podiatrists, but we're regulated as chiropodist/podiatrist. And there's multiple routes, or there was multiple routes into chiropody. And then there was a big regulation change in 2004. So kind of everyone in our place is in the UK is trying to say, no, we're podiatrists and trying to move away from chiropody. But there seems to be a subtle difference over with you. So what's the deal in Canada with chiropodists? How does it work?
It's the reason I had to be so clear is it's pretty strict in Ontario. In Ontario, we practice a chiropody model or a chiropody model. And so after the year 93, no new podiatrists can come into Ontario. So a brand new podiatrist trained in the States, residency and everything, can do surgical procedure on bone, can come into Ontario, but they have to register themselves as a chiropodist, and they don't have the ability to do their bone surgery.
Okay. So
in terms of marketing, advertising, it has to be very clear if you're a podiatrist or you're a chiropodist. So there's around 600 foot specialists, podiatrists and chiropodists in Ontario right now. And only, I would say around 45 or 60 are actual podiatrists. The rest are all chiropodists. So that's why the chiropodists and the podiatrists, to be fair, want to be very defined that they are the podiatrists and we are the chiropodists. So that's why I didn't want any confusion with anyone watching, that I'm trying to be a podiatrist or a foot doctor, because I'm not. I'm just a chiropodist. That's why I had to be very clear.
Just a chiropodist.
Just a chiropodist.
Not just a chiropodist. I mean, the videos I've watched of yours are absolutely superb. I want to ask you some questions about that in a moment, because I think that's really, really interesting. What's the kind of regulatory and legal position for the titles chiropodist and podiatrist? Are they protected in law as well? So if somebody hasn't done the same sort of training to get to chiropodist or podiatrist level and they use those titles, what's the outcome if they're reported? Is there a body that they can be reported to?
Yes, so there's the College of Chiropodists of Ontario, and they're the regulating body for podiatrists and chiropodists. So their job, obviously, is to protect the public from people who are practicing who shouldn't, misusing the title. And so they're the ones who are the watchdogs, making sure that we're in line.
Okay. How long have you been a chiropodist?
This is the start of my 6th year.
Okay. And
yeah, graduate 2012.
Okay. So you're a newbie then, aren't you? You haven't been doing it too long.
Not too long, but again, I grew up with it. So I was always around the practice, watched my dad practice. So I was always kind of in the mix.
Cool. Tell me about your dad. Tell me about the practice that your dad started. Because I know, again, you've touched on that for the video. So
yeah, no, he was the first class in Ontario for this program in 1981. He was actually a nurse for 25 years before that. So he went back to school in his 40s to become a chiropodist, and then started from there. He started his own practice, and just went from there. The crazy thing, though, the profession changed so much. It used to be a lot of callus and core and care, basic treatments, but then orthotics, orthopedic shoes came in the mix. So in the end of his career, he wasn't really too much at the office. He was more, doing consultations, doing assessments for other physio clinics, medical clinics, things like that. And the office wasn't really being used as a true seeing patients every single day, like a proper foot care office. So when I graduated and finished school, I had the office, but I had 0 patients. So I started with 0 patients and I had to start from the beginning. So I was by myself, answering phones, booking appointments, taking payments, working part-time until I built it up till now. So this year I'm just reaching 5,000 patients. So,
wow. So it's been a bit of a learning curve as well for you.
For sure. And my dad didn't have the skill set to do some of the procedures I do, or the equipment to do some of the laser treatment I do. So it's been different.
So what's the scope of practice for you? I mean, you've talked before about you don't do bone surgery because that
Mm-hmm.
the podiatrists obviously have that surgical kind of element. So what is your scope of practice? I mean, we've got over here as podiatrists. Yes, we do the I suppose the routine foot care, really important
Mm-hmm.
stuff, but classed as, I suppose, very simple, right the way up to local anaesthetic procedures like ingrown toenail surgery, and then there's some other stuff around that. But we don't do bone surgery procedures unless we go on to train to be podiatric surgeons. So what's the scope of practice like for you?
Pretty similar. So we can do injections. We don't have drug classes. We have a drug list of certain drugs that we can inject or prescribe.
Okay.
So we do injections. We do prescribe some medication, basic antifungals, antibiotics, cortisone creams, things like that. And we can do soft tissue surgery down to the dermis. So, but again, no bone.
So
And even if you want to, you can't because there's no training here. There's no way to upgrade right now. So that's literally, I'm practicing to the full scope of my ability.
So if you then wanted to go and do bone surgery, what would be your next kind of training step?
I can.
Could you go to the US and do that?
I'd have to apply as a year 1 podiatry student.
So you'd have to, which is similar to if as a UK podiatrist, if we wanted to go and work in America, we would have to go back and do the training from year 1 upwards. So it's very, very similar, go through residency and stuff like that. So.
And then I wouldn't be able to go back to Ontario to practice or do bone surgery.
So you don't fancy moving out of Ontario then?
No. Maybe I'll come by you.
No, you come to the UK. It could be quite cool. So, in 6 years, you've had a bit of a journey, bit of an adventure. Then it's been a bit of an impressive time. When did you start? Where did the Tobro come from? Because it's a very well known thing now. I mean, the Tobro, 250,000 subscribers, videos which have millions of views on. And a number of countries, as I'm sure you'll be able to tell me exactly how many countries that you're actually in. But where did it begin? What was the genesis of the Tobro?
The problem is every time I was out with friends at a party or just socializing, everyone asks, "What do you do? What do you do?" And always comes down to you, like, "What do you do, John?" I'm like, "Oh, I look at feet all day. I'm a foot specialist. I'm a chiropodist." "What the heck is that?" And everyone was laughing because I'd say, like, "Yeah, I cut these crazy nails. I remove ingrown toenails. This is what I do." So then I enjoyed working out, and it just came up that Adam and me and our friends, we started just joking around like John's the foot guy. And then it just came up the toe bro. I was like, I'm the toe bro, because bro is, like young, hip, kind of that gym mentality. And I do feet. So that's how it came around.
Because it's very distinctive, very, very distinctive. and was it that kind of moment where they said the toe bro and you went, yes, that's it. That's what I want to be known as from now on.
Yeah, it honestly it's more like a joke. I was like, yeah, I'm the toe bro. So I sat down. I was like, I want to do a logo. So I was searching the net and I picked 3 different characteristics that I wanted. One was Mr. Clean, like with the big arms like that. Then I decided I wanted to do the head as a toe. Plus I'm bald, so it kind of mixed in. And then the circle logo. So I sent it on Fiverr, and I said to this guy, like, I want you to put these 3 things together. And after 2 or 3 revisions, that's what we came up with.
Nice.
Yeah.
How long ago was that? So, qualified 6 years ago. When was it the Tobro appeared?
A year and a half ago.
So it's only 18 months ago.
Yeah.
Which makes that 250,000 subscribers even more impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Did you think Or do you know, looking back now, would you have thought at that time when you started it that it would have the coverage and the impact that it's had already? Did you know that was going to happen?
No, the thing is, every time you're posting something like that, you have the hope that it's gonna catch. But because of the material that was there, I really didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know what people were going to expect. So I just posted it with a hope and a prayer that people would enjoy it.
And did you just do random videos? Had you got a plan for your videos,
No,
or you just started doing it?
I just started doing it. I picked up a camera and I said, okay, I'm gonna film me doing this procedure, and okay, I have another procedure. Let me do this one, and then I see I average on, I'd say probably around 100 new patients a month. So I get a lot of interesting cases all the time. So I said, you know what, I want to capture this. There's things that people have never seen before or don't know exist, and I want to just show everyone.
So it's a massive, massive push for kind of education
Yes.
and knowledge. And you were saying as well, you know, talking about, you'd say you look after feet all day, and people think, oh, that's a bit strange, or they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I use this logo. I use the foot and leg magician, and that came about probably roughly about 18 months ago as well, where I was at a networking meeting and somebody said, well, what do you do? And I said, I'm a podiatrist, but what I want you to think of is that I'm a foot and leg magician. And I just went, ooh, I like that. That makes sense. And yes, I mean, we talked about on the Pod Chat Live thing that I've had people go, no, he's not a magician, he's something else. But generally, what people receive that really, really well. And it has the effect, as I'm sure the toe bro does, that people say, what do you do? And you go, I'm the toe bro. And they go, oh, what's that? Tell me a little bit more. It's a pattern interrupt. It gets people thinking
It
about
is.
asking
It's
a
an
question.
opener. It's an opener, right? It
It is.
disarms you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, what do I do now? And I think things like that are really, really good for the profession. So what's your favourite video? What's the favourite, the video you look back on now and go, I love that video. It's just amazing.
The funny thing is, I don't watch the videos. I post it and then I just move on. I just can't look at them. I think the most amazing one to me was capturing the splinter to
That
get
was the
that
big splinter
shish
which you
kebab.
pulled out.
Yeah, the shish kebab. It wasn't a shish kebab skewer that came out.
That one, I watched that one recently, and it was absolutely amazing, because hadn't the patient they'd been to the emergency
ER
room,
twice.
they'd had X-rays. Obviously, being wood, it wouldn't have shown up on X-ray. And then you were like, "There's something in here; it hasn't settled down." And then you pulled that thing out, and it was like Excalibur. So if you know sort of the King Arthur legend, it was just.
I just
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing to watch. It was absolutely superb. So you enjoyed that one.
I enjoy
What
that
else?
one.
Any others which jump out?
Um, I like all the ones with actually me cutting toenails. I enjoy it a lot because people come in with really thick, bad toenails. They can't trim it. They don't know what to do. No one can help them. And we just have a simple conversation. We laugh and talk, and I just trim and file everything down as much as I can, and they feel much better. So there was one, like, I think the one that really kicked off first was me with a Caribbean woman. I think thick and fungal toenails. There's one of my old ones I used to use, Tobro versus
Yeah.
super fungal toenails. And I think that was the first one that really picked up really big. And yeah, it was just us having a great talk and laughing. Like, I don't try to change who I am. I film as if there's no camera there. So I'm always laughing, joking with patients. And it's just, I love laughing and having fun with them. Like the 100-year-old woman, we did a little dance. Every time she comes, she invited me to her 100th birthday. Like, it's just so cute and sweet. And it's just genuine. It's real.
So I think authenticity is a really important part of practice. And I think one of the things I find, I mean, the videos I've done, they certainly don't have the level of subscribe. I think my YouTube channel's got 20 subscribers on, which is a little bit embarrassing when I say it out loud. But I tend to use Facebook a lot for mine, and it's done a lot. It's done a lot for me in terms of pushing the profession and educating people. But when I first started doing the videos, it was very much this fake sort of, hello, I'm a podiatrist. I can look after your feet. I have these professional qualifications. And it's an instant turn off for people. Or in my opinion, it is. What you almost want is you do want that authenticity. You do want someone to say, oh, well, I've seen you on video. I'm coming to your office and your clinic and I get exactly the same person in front of me. It's reassuring. It's they know you before they even get to know you. And I think that's really, really valuable. So step back a little bit here, because there's probably a couple of whys, behind why you do what you do. I mean, the first one would be, why a podiatrist? Well, I suspect I know the answer, but it'd be interesting to find out. And secondly, why is the why behind all of the videos and the Tobro? Is it about education? Is it about growing your practice and marketing? Or is there something else behind it as well? So I suppose there's two questions in there. What was the why to get you into chiropody and podiatry? And what was the why to start the Tobro?
Mm. So what's interesting, before back in the day, chiropody was actually just a 2-year program after high school. You could enter after high school.
Wow.
Yeah, most of the applicants were still coming out of university, but I applied my final year of high school. So I was 16, 17, and I had it in my mind I was going to be a chiropodist, just like my dad. That was the year they actually shut down the program for 1 year to reevaluate the program to make it, I guess, more intense, to have more meat to it. So they actually made it a requirement that year to have a university degree, and then they made it a 3-year program instead of 2. So when I got denied, I was actually pretty crushed. I remember going to school and had a few tears that that's it. I don't know what I'm going to do now. So I went to university and I had my eyes set on optometry. Didn't have the marks or the work ethic to become a doctor or apply. So I was like, I'm going to do optometry. I worked at Lens Crafters. My neighbor was an optometrist, and I was shadowing him. And then I was studying for my oaths, and it was 2 days before the oaths, and I was getting all ready, and I was like, you know what? Like, I don't know anything really about this. Like, I helped out, but it's not what I really want to do. And I look back at my dad, and in the summers I still helped him, and I saw the business, and I saw the opportunity of running in my own business and jumping right in. I said, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just going to go apply for chiropody, and that's what I did. I love the business aspect plus how much the profession changed. So that's why I wanted to follow my heart and go back to where I wanted to go originally.
So it kind of jumped up from that 2-year to 3-year, and
yep.
Did it feel different as a profession with that? Has that had an impact on it across the whole of Ontario and the whole of Canada?
For sure, because can you imagine, there's nothing wrong with it, but you could get in back in the day after high school. So you're 17, 18, you finished school at 20, but that's all you have, high school education. So now all of us are, university graduates. Most of us are in science. So we have a lot more background information. So it actually made the program a little bit better because they could push through topics faster. We already had such a basic knowledge. So it helped just build on top of that. So that's why it was good for the profession.
Cool. And your why behind the Tobro? What was the why behind the Tobro again?
I wanted to show people what I do, how the different procedures that are out there, the people that are coming in, normal people, all walks of life, having serious foot issues that they need to go get treated, and just to show that off, just show what a chiropodist can do. And even now, I still don't ever say, come to my office. This is my address. This is where you can find me. No one knows where I am. Everyone's always looking. I don't know where the Tobro is. I actually don't promote my clinic in that way. I just promote the profession, that you need to go seek help, and then people find whoever need to find. But I never actually have ever pushed the clinic. I don't. Yeah, I don't.
That's interesting because it's very much that there's different tenets of marketing, isn't there? There's pull marketing and push marketing. And the push marketing would be, this is where my office is. Come and see me. My opening hours are. Contact me now. Very sort of sales in your face. What you're doing is you're doing the value. Almost the Gary Vaynerchuk, the jab, right hook. You're giving so much value, but you're getting so much back because of it as well. it's that contribution where it starts from. I just want to go back, just touch on something you said, you talked about with the qualifications. How much do you know about the UK kind of pathway into chiropody and podiatry?
There's a few. The one I know that there's like an undergraduate program that's like 5 years right out of high school.
Ah, I see.
Bachelor or medical podiatry. I'm not too sure, but I know there's that route I've heard of. But that's the only one I really know, that you can go right out of high school for a certain amount of years.
Yeah, so you've got the standard, the UK education system. You get to 18, you've either been through college for the last 2 years or you've done your A levels. So you have exams at 16, then you have exams at 18. I've got a very convoluted route through to podiatry, which doesn't involve any A levels at all. So nothing between 16 and 19, apart from a college course in computer programming, and then an undergraduate nursing diploma. I worked in the emergency department in A&E for a few years. So like your dad talking about his nursing, I actually came through nursing to get to podiatry. There's two types of degree to get you into podiatry now. One is a 3-year undergraduate, which is the one I did, which is done at 13 schools. But there's actually, sorry, I say 13 schools. In Scotland, they do a 4-year undergraduate degree. And that gets you registration with the Health and Care Professions Council. Prior to 2004, there was a route to become a chiropodist via some other courses, which didn't give you state registration, but they gave you a chiropodist qualification. And they varied in lengths, but they were not sort of 3 years of intensive study. Since 2004, there's been quite a closure of the profession of sorts, or that's what it was meant to be. And now we have groups of foot health practitioners who do courses of various lengths to become carers of the feet, I suppose, is probably the easiest way to do it. So they do very sort of simple nail care and care for people's feet, nail care, that kind of thing, callus reduction. They do some courses which take them up to do some more biomechanical stuff, but it isn't to the same kind of intensity of our stuff. So it's very interesting now. The only route since about 1993 into podiatry to become a podiatrist was undergraduate degree. And the only way now you can actually be registered with the Health and Care Professions Council is going via that undergraduate degree level. But we have it's a very weird industry we're in at the moment, in that there's a number of people training and being confused with chiropodists and podiatrists. Yeah. Who haven't got that qualification. So we have a real image problem in this country. Real image problem. And that's why I'm asking about why the toe bro. And your answer for me is it resonates. It's about education. It's about showing people the cool stuff that we do. And I think our industry is going through a massive amount of change. And the regulatory bodies we have, the College of Podiatry, who we work with, who do our insurance and our union facilities, they are trying to push the profession forward, but it's not moving probably as quickly as it should. So I see video as being a massive part of that push. And I know not everyone likes being on video. I mean, you're on video. You're a natural on video. I enjoy video. No, you are. Trust me. You're very authentic, very personable. I enjoy video. I think I have a face for radio, not a face for video.
No, but you are an amazing speaker. I was watching all your videos, Dave. You are great speakers. That's the one thing.
Thank you very much. Shucks, I'm as they say, the toe bro.
You're witty.
I've arrived now. This is brilliant. This is fantastic. But I think that there's a lot of stuff we need to do in our profession to push it forward. Mm-hmm. But I think we've got a really big change. Now, one of the things I believe in is I believe that we're probably in the UK on the cusp of what I call the foot health revolution. And I don't think we can continue doing things in the way we're doing them. I think there's some big changes coming up. Now, if I said to you the term foot health revolution, what would that mean to you? What sort of things would come to mind?
It would just be having defined terms, defined responsibilities, the advancement of maybe some procedures. So if I relate that to here in Ontario, there's a lot of misunderstanding with chiropodists and podiatrists, what actually a chiropodist does. So when I hear foot health revolution, it'd be, again, us to push toward one term, one type of specialist, one set of defined responsibilities or things that we can provide, and just pushing the profession forward in one direction, not all, like you said, in the UK, with all these different wayabouts of getting in and levels of skill, trying to push it, then everything clear and defined and forward.
Cool. I like that. Yeah, that fits very nicely as well, because I think that's what we need. I think we need clarity of direction, clarity of purpose. And we have some people who will never want to train to be a podiatrist. There's people out there who won't ever want to pick up local anesthetic and stick a needle into someone. They will very simply just want to provide foot care for people who maybe can't reach their feet, or have thickened fungal toenails. And you talked about those thickened fungal toenails earlier, and I got a little bit excited because I love treating those things as well. But then on the other end, you're going to have people who want to be doing the more complex biomechanics and the bone surgery. And if you can say to someone, you can come in here with your qualifications, and then if you want to do that, here's the defined pathway, and here's the defined pathway, and everyone working on that same level. So I think that's really cool. I have two fun questions for you. I like fun questions. If you had a message for yourself 6 years ago, so you had the chance to make a time machine and go back to 6 years, just when you qualified, what would you say to yourself?
Yeah, always these questions. The thing is, I'm one of those people, I really believe whatever happened for a reason. I had to go through all personal stuff, and gain my confidence to perform those procedures on my own. The skill that I have now has come from me working hard, studying, seeing the people I did, going through my past. So I would just tell myself, which I've done, follow your heart, do what you believe is right, and take care of your patients. Do everything you can for the patients, and then it'll lead me to where I am today.
That should be on a t-shirt somewhere, shouldn't it?
Yeah. You know what? That's what I would say, because the last 3 years, 2 years. So I've been practicing full 5 years. This is the start of my 6th. So 5 years, I'd say the last 2.5 years, 2 years, I said to myself, you have to stop caring about, unfortunately, stop caring about money, stop caring about the bills and trying to cover everything. The only thing that should matter is patient care. And when patient care improves and you do everything for your patient, then everything else will be fine, because you'll have more patients come in, referrals are good, the word spreads, and everything happens because of the care. That's the number one priority in someone's clinic. And once I changed to that mindset for every single person, that's when everything has taken off. Even before Tobro, everything, it comes down to patient care. Even though I'm a business guy, that's why I say I'm a horrible business guy, because I care too much. That's the issue.
Do you think that most people in chiropody and podiatry are very poor business people?
Probably, but sometimes being a good business person might make you a bad chiropodist.
Yeah, I get that.
And
yeah.
I have a conflict with healthcare, because it shouldn't care about the money. It should be about the care. But because money is always involved, and it is important, it kind of construes how people get treated. And so that's why I have to try to separate myself from money, because it's just about the care. That's my job.
Interesting. Is all of the people come to you, they all pay privately, or is there an insurance element to it as well?
Some do have private insurance that are offered through work benefits. Some people don't have anything. I don't deal with the insurance company at all. So when people come in, they pay for their service. Right there and then I give them a receipt and off they go. And some of my procedures, can range from $400 to $600. And they're trusting me, and they're paying sometimes out of pocket. So, but then again, it's not about the price. It's about what I'm offering, making sure I give them everything I can. So I try to do the most I can for them.
Yeah, and indeed with the videos, it gives them it gives them a good idea of what you do. You know, there's nothing hidden. It's all there. I suppose the nearest way I can think about it is, you know, you may have skeletons in your closet, but your closet doesn't have any doors, so everyone can see exactly what's there in front. There's no
Yeah.
hiding, and
Yeah.
I mean, that's refreshing. That's really, really refreshing. I think sometimes we struggle in the UK with the whole business element too, and I agree entirely with the idea that caring and business they don't sit well together in some ways.
No.
I think they
No.
can do. I think there's a rational place for it. But it was interesting with my nursing experience, you know, and the stuff I've done before, working for the National Health Service. There is no, I'm not saying to patients, and that will be X amount of pounds. It's not a my care for their money. It's I'm giving them care. I'm paid for it separately. It's a very different situation. I do think that changes the goalposts. Definitely,
It does. It's different.
really interesting. I think there's a huge amount of similarity between the system you have and the system, you know, we have. So podiatrists here and chiropodists there. Which,
For sure, we copied your system.
well, you know, yeah, you probably should have looked elsewhere, but that's a whole different thing. Really interesting. I was in touch recently with a group in America called, and I've forgotten it now. I think they're called Street Feet. In North America, and they basically provide foot care for the kind of the homeless and transient population in various areas across North America. And I came across it via a Patreon link.
Okay.
Because I think you've done a bit. Have you done Patreon as well? No.
I was thinking about it for a while, but I don't know. It's hard asking for people for money.
Yeah, it is, it's always that interesting step to go over. But they're on Patreon, and it's really interesting. I got in touch with them, and they've got a Facebook group, and I was having a quick chat with them. It's one of the things which we do over here in the UK, and it's kind of a huge shout out to my friend Debbie Monk, who started a project called Forgotten Feet, which is where we actually provide foot care for the homeless population and people at risk of homelessness who go through local shelters. And we provide foot care for them, and it's completely, there's no money changes hands. It's a complete us giving our time and other people donating things to help us give our time in order to treat these people, and it's an absolutely amazing place to be. And another shout out, you know, one of my mentors, a guy called Rich Waterman, talks a lot about contribution, and I sincerely believe that all the good stuff which can come actually does start with contribution. You know, you start by giving, and in giving and helping, it comes back to you in spades. Now it's a bit woo woo, and you know, if people don't think of me as woo woo, but I can be a little bit. But I find the contribution elements really good. It goes back to what you're saying. You're giving your care, not worrying about anything else, and everything else gets sorted for you. I think it's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool journey.
So what when you're not being the Tobro, which if you're working 6 days a week and then coming into the office on the 7th day for me is not very much time. What do you get up to? What are your hobbies?
I used to work out, be active, play sports, but the last year have not done any of that. So the last year has been rough. A lot of work, just all the time working. I do watch a lot of football. European football, so I do have some season tickets for the Toronto home team here. So I just had a game last night, so that's just something that I do to get away and, you know, enjoy. I got a lot of active friends, so that's what I was mostly doing, just getting out, working out, playing sports, release that physical, you know, need to, or mental stress, get rid of that. But the last year's been busy, so I haven't been in too much of that. All the time in the office. I just moved locations 5 months ago. It was a shell unit, so I had to build that out. So that was interesting. I've never done anything like that before. So trying to make sure everything's on time. The first week, I had to get out of the old place in here, and there's still panels open, and I had guys still working in on the Saturdays while I'm seeing patients. It was crazy. So now I'm getting settled in. So hopefully get back into the active thing. So I like to be active. That's a big thing.
Yeah, it's important. I remember actually seeing that video. So I think it's not one of the first videos I saw, but kind of early on in watching your videos is the one where you were moving offices. And you'll correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but there was a sign on the wall in the old office, and I'm sure it was metal, and it was the business sign, and you were taking those bits out. And then it was kind of, taking those bits out and then closing the door at the end of the day. And you could see how emotional it was. There was,
Sure.
you told a story about being in that building when your dad was working there as a boy. That was the chair he used to use. Really, really emotive stuff.
That was emotional. I cried in that one. I'm not going to lie. That was baby bro. That was the baby toe
bro. Yeah, baby toe bro. Baby toe bro.
But no, I did. And then I put the sign here on the back.
That's it. That's the one.
So instead of it being the S in Cooksville, it's now the S in Mississauga. So let's see this one.
Got you. Oh, nice.
I made it the G, so I kept it alive.
Nice. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, I'm gonna ask you one more question. Where's the toe bro going? What's the future? What's the future look like? I mean, apart from getting people in to help with the business, which it has to be a move that you do for your sanity and for your health more than anything else.
For sure, I'm pulling in 60 to 80 hour weeks every week. So I really want to do education stuff, training, very similar to you, coaching in terms of mentality of a clinic, just going in and working with different practitioners, seeing what their mindset is, seeing how maybe I can improve their mindset, educate people, whether it's from here. Nail techs is a huge thing. To me, this is a huge focus of mine. Most people who have foot problems are still going to pedicurists, nail salons to get some of these things treated. And if they have a little bit more information and a little bit more skills, they can treat some of the items or some of the things, and other things that should be out of their scope or they shouldn't touch, they know to send to a licensed foot specialist and kind of bridge that gap so there's not so much misunderstanding. A lot of salons are treating things that they shouldn't, and all they need to say is, hey, I've seen what this is, or I've done a presentation. This is something you might want to go see your local podiatrist, chiropodist, and just increase the knowledge about foot care, especially for people who are touching feet. So foot care nurses, nail salons, and then work my way up to, actual foot care specialists if they have time in day for the toe bro.
I think who doesn't have time in the day for the toe bro? The toe bro is a busy man. So there's some. It's really interesting actually. The things you're talking about, with the mindset and education and training, I think are massively important. I think, I don't know what other celebrities there are in chiropody in Ontario, but I don't think there's anyone else out there certainly from what I can see in Canada, who's doing what you're doing at all.
Yeah, no, but I see a lot of channels popping up. There's a few in Ontario that, everyone's starting to see the importance. This is the problem though. People, I can see the new things are popping up, and they're going for the push. Yeah. They're saying, this is us. This is where we are. Come see us. Come see us. We're the best. We're the best. And then again, it's sales, right? But like you said, it's that weird way that I put it just to educate, and then people want to come to see me, even though I never said come see me. I said go see a foot specialist near you. This week I had someone come from Maryland in the States. They drove 8 hours.
Yeah.
8 hours. Yes.
Yeah.
8 hours just to see me.
8 hours.
8 hours. And I said, how come you didn't find anyone else near you? There's a lot of podiatrists who can do this. So I saw your videos. I wanted you. There's no one else I trust, just you. They drove down, stayed one night, saw me the day. Stayed one more night, then drove back. And it was unbelievable. Like that's crazy. I have someone who just called again, coming in from California. That's just getting all the info, booking the date so she can come fly just for me to do an ingrown toenail surgery. I think that's pretty much it. It's ridiculous.
Wow. I mean, that's brilliant, isn't it? I mean, that is just amazing that it comes down to the know, like, and trust. It comes down to the fact people have seen you, you've educated them, you've done all the hard work that if you were advertising, which you'd have to do with some hard advertising dollars. And that makes a really big difference. That's really cool.
Yeah. It is. But what I would love is that people can find help near them, right? Just people to start looking at their feet. They do a little search and they find someone near them, so they don't have to travel great lengths, because there's a lot of great. The truth is, I'm not doing anything that's really different than other people.
Mm.
I'm really not. I'm just showing people what I'm doing. But most foot specialists should be able to do this without an issue.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Should.
Good. Yeah. No. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, that's brilliant. That's fantastic. Thank you for that. I really, really appreciate that.